Never sacrifice function for aesthetics is what I learned that day. You might just watch this video and be like, she's dumb. Everything turned out fine. Hello, welcome back to my channel, Knits by Mandy. My name is Amanda, and today we're making the Harlow sweater V-neck edition by Caidree. I've already gotten started on this project, but I want to film this process because I've been so excited about making this sweater, and I'm using a really new to me and what I think is a pretty unique yarn. If you've seen any of my other videos, you may have seen me talking about this sweater before. I am knitting this in Roan DK by Primrose Yarn Co. in the colorway Fossil. And this yarn is a 3-ply DK that is 60% superwash wool and 40% non-superwash wool. Really excited to use this yarn. The reason that they mix the superwash and the regular merino is that it's supposed to kind of give you the best of both of those fibers. So it's soft and smooth like a superwash, but it's supposed to have a really good memory still and not grow after blocking. And I know that's kind of my biggest gripe with superwash, and I honestly like a little bit of a woolly feel. So my cat is playing. I'm interested to have both in this yarn. The other interesting thing about this yarn is that because it's used with 2 different types of wool, I believe that the superwash merino is a white wool and the merino is a brown, so that when you dye it, you get a little just more added dimension into the colors. I've already knit a gauge swatch, and I've decided to knit the size 3 on the suggested needle size. Here's my swatch, and I've already started on the back yoke. It's all rolled up right now because of the stockinette, and the stitches are pretty close together. Like, it's a pretty tight fiber, but this is just what I have so far. There's some German short row shaping on the back, and I'm really excited to see where the rest of the project goes, and I'll be taking you with me. Hello, it is the next day, and I have some progress. I was able to put the back yoke on hold and pick up stitches for the left shoulder. Here's what that lovely detail is looking like, the shoulder seam. I had a little gauge panic, and I just wanted to make sure that I was like getting the right amount of ease, and so I did some comparison actually with the Ingrid sweater, what I'm wearing right now, and this sweater is large. It has, in terms of ease, it has 10 inches of positive ease, and this Caidree pattern is asking you can do 8 to 10 inches of ease is what's recommended. I want to be, I think, on the lower end of that, just because I already have a rather oversized drop shoulder sweater, and I want this to be like loose fitting, but I don't want it to be like this, because this is, I mean, this is a lot of sweater. I love this sweater, but I just want something a little bit different. So my bust circumference is 37 inches, and so this all the way around is 47 inches, and so this, if this is doubled, this will be 44 inches. Right now, everything as it is, it would be, if you just doubled this, it would be 7 inches of positive ease. So I think we'll probably hit in probably somewhere around 8. So I was just worried there for a second, but we should be good. Always, you can like use other sweaters that you have, sweaters that you own, if you have questions about ease. Oh, hi, sassy girl. For the long time, for a long time, positive ease and negative ease made no sense to me. Like, I think because one of the first garments I was paying attention to ease was negative, and I was like, I don't understand what that means. But understanding how close or how far away you want a garment from your body can be really helpful, especially as you're trying to assess fit early on. So far, the pattern's really easy, really clear to read. There are some instructional videos in there. This is my first time knitting a Caidree pattern, and I'm impressed. So far so good. Monday, March 20th, and I'm almost ready to join the yoke in the round, which is exciting. This is knitting up really quickly, and I think I can really, once I get going on the body, just like really knock this out. Not that I'm trying to rush, but I am getting excited, even though it's still very cold here, very excited about spring knits. That being said, we're gonna enjoy this process. I spent a lot of money on this yarn. I'm gonna enjoy it. But this is what it looks like so far. I put a safety pin here. I couldn't find one of my clickable, lockable stitch markers, so I just use a bobby or a safety pin. And more like this is what the fit is looking like. And this will be a bit longer because this is really rolled up. Like this fabric's way more rolled than I think a lot of stockinette. Obviously stockinette rolls, but it's like very like tightly knit, so it's like very springy. Anyway, I think this looks good. I know it'll block out and grow with blocking. They say on the website that this yarn isn't supposed to grow after blocking, so we will see. I mean, only time will tell. So this fabric is interesting in that it is, you know, pretty tightly knit together. I think that's accounting for a lot of like the extreme rolling. Like I feel like it's really aggressively rolling, but it's springy. And I'm trying to think of something to compare it to. I'm not coming up with something great, but it almost more like a stretchy, like factory knit is what it feels like. So I'm really interested to see what this all comes together as, and I'm enjoying this pattern so far. So I'll see you probably when we're having a yoke. Very excited. I'm feeling really good about the progress I'm making so far. I believe I filmed only just yesterday. And Sassy says hi. She wants me to play with her right now. I think winding yarn might make her a little crazy. But I just finished my second skein of yarn, and this is how much I have. I just worked a little down after the sleeve separation, and I'm going to pick up for the neckband now. Before I do that, I have to wind up some yarn, so that's why I have you set up here. The other day, I tried filming yarn winding. I either do it here or I have a little like tray table that I use, but I tried doing it in my office because I get better light. But then I realized like the clamp doesn't fit around my desk, and I was trying to have it like my Swift like connected to a notebook that was anchored by some pens. This on the windowsill. It was a huge mess. Never do that. Never sacrifice function for aesthetics is what I learned that day. And so we're just gonna do some yarn winding. Finished my first ball of yarn, and I'm seeing something really interesting on my coffee table that I didn't notice because I had hand wound the balls before. Take a look. I did notice these fibers while I was knitting, and it seems like a lot of them are being shed now in the winding process. And I promise you this isn't Sassy's hair. This is from the yarn. I've never seen this happen before. I don't really know what to make of it, but that is happening for sure. Hello. It's again the next day. I finally wound up all the yarn. So I wound up all the girls. All the girls are ready to party, and I've just attached the last one. Okay. And let me show you. I know this isn't the best lighting, I'm a little backlit, but this is what I have so far. Feeling that the collar is darker than the body. But let's take a closer look at it. So when I place it down on the floor and in the sunlight, it doesn't look as bad to me, and I actually don't think you can notice it. But what I am noticing kind of in person, and maybe you can see here, and again, it is subtle, I pointed out how there are these kind of like lighter lines in this knit up fabric, which I think is gorgeous. And I feel like maybe either it's the way, because this is a different circumference, or it's the color of the yarn, it doesn't look as light. And it almost has some like deeper shades of like a plum to it. Like, do you see this color? I feel like this color isn't present here. Well, maybe a little, but it's more concentrated here. Anyway, I am going to continue, I think. I don't really think... I am a little worried about once I attach the new ball here, there's going to be a stark line. I might have fucked up, and we might have just like made a huge mistake. Speaking of not doing things the proper way the first time, I also effed up on picking up stitches on the back edge, which I've decided not to fix because the sleeves are fine. These actually, wait, is this, no, the sleeves are fine. It's just these stitches that are, I think these ones are wrong. I think this is what it's supposed to look like, but my neck and my back is no one's business. So I'm just keeping it. I might regret this later, but that is the fun of a vlog. We will find out. Take a drink every time you see my pink water bottle in any of my videos. She's always been there for me. Okay, we finished the collar. I'm really excited to have this done because I think this is one of the most attractive parts of the sweater to me. I've just been very excited to have this like double ribbed, folded, juicy, squishy, bunchy collar. Because bunchy is not like a positive word, but you get what I'm saying. I think maybe here you can see that the yarn, it is a little darker than what is on the needles right now, right? If I was a smart woman, first of all, if I was an intelligent woman, I would have alternated skeins from the beginning. I haven't done that, love, now have I? What I could do is, I don't mind ripping back some of this work, at least to start blending some of the other skeins, because I think maybe I grabbed unknowingly 2 lighter skeins, and then these ones are just a skosh darker. And I don't even know if it's the lighting. I'm sorry I'm looking in the viewfinder, but I don't even know if it's the lighting. Because in some lights it looks fine, but then when I hold it like this, it doesn't. Look, it looks a little darker. You might see it and be like, that looks the exact same. So I think, oh, I don't know. So this is the one we're working from now. These are what we're working for. It's so hard to tell. Yeah, it looks a little, this looks a little lighter, right? But I can't tell if that's just because it knits up lighter than it looks in the cake. I haven't developed that eye yet. I haven't developed the skein to cake to fabric eye. And we're in process. we're loading that skill. So I'm leaving the collar. I think it's fine. I think I'm going to try to blend the body just a little bit. I'm not going to rip it all back, but maybe rip back like, I'm trying to think. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. We'll figure it out. Oh, I was going to try it on. Okay, well, I'm going to put the knitting cords on and then we'll try it on. First of all, cute. Second of all, these are different colors. Fuck. Sitting in front of the window, it's an overcast day, so I don't have direct sunlight, which I know can sometimes wash things out. Overall, the fit I'm liking. I think this is going to be perfect. Love this. And then this will probably sit flatter, you know, once it's blocked. But what would you do if you were me it's hard to say because I'm gonna have hopefully finished this by the time I post this video, so. Fuck! It is the next day. I keep saying that in every clip, but I'm being pretty good about vlogging, if I do say so myself. I have not done any more work on my project. I took to Instagram last night, or yesterday afternoon, and most people said that they couldn't tell a difference. A few people were like, I see a slight difference, but if you rip back a few rows and then blend the new skeins, you should be fine. And then people were saying like, there'll be a seam for when you pick up for the sleeve, so that should also be okay. Which I was like very encouraged by. I think I had a moment where I was very in my head. I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but this is something I've talked about in therapy. I remember like buying these and I think being nervous that the skeins weren't going, and this is a very like minor example of this, but like buying these and realizing that maybe the skeins might be different if I was like, you know, needing to consult people to make sure they were the same color. And so I think at the first sign of maybe it not being right, I was like, you know, a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, although I think these are a little different, but maybe not as bad as I initially thought. And to put in a lifeline, I have my tapestry needle and I have some scrap yarn, and I'm just gonna thread that through. If you don't know how to put in a lifeline, it's pretty simple. It can be a little overwhelming when you have to do it over a whole project, but you basically go through with scrap yarn and you take the right leg of every stitch and you thread through each leg, and then when you rip back, then all the stitches will be on that string and you can just put them back on your needle and start knitting from there. I've done this once before, and once or twice before, I think, so I'm not too worried. It's just plain stockinette, so I don't have to worry about like messing up any stitch patterns, and I think it'll make me feel a little bit better about blending these skeins. I think I counted yesterday, I have 12 rows, so I think I'm gonna rip back, I think, to maybe the 4th row, and then I'll have like all of this to alternate with the second skein that I attach. So yeah, I think, you know, lesson learned, and I'm gonna look up a tutorial for helical knitting and try that out just to make it easier and not to have any like weird joins or spots where you're alternating skeins. I'll learn a new skill, so that's good. And overall, like, not that bad. It's not really like a big L right now. And I'm pretty happy with how the collar turned out. Again, it's a little wavy, but I think it'll come out in blocking. It'll be just fine. And I am still very excited about this project. So I'm going to pop on, I don't know what I want to watch. My boyfriend, he's been gone the past few days. He's been on a trip. So like, I finally got him to watch Vanderpump Rules with me, but maybe I'll watch even some trashier television. I knew the new Love is Blind season is out, and I think there's a season of The Circle for me to watch. But like, I mean, Netflix has been on a steady decline. I don't know about you guys, but like, the shows on Netflix kind of suck now. But I'll watch some TV and check back in with you once I've done some surgery. Ideal Saturday morning, well, it's 1 p.m. is Sassy. Look, Sassy. Look at your friends. And Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. Lifeline is out and we have frogged. It's super bunchy, but yeah, that was actually pretty easy, and that was the first time I think had a pretty straight lifeline, and I only missed like 1 or 2 stitches, so yay. But these look different to me, don't they? You might just watch this video and be like, she's dumb. But this is my truth, and these feel different, but we're gonna blend it, and it's gonna be fine. So. Hello, it is March 27th, and I am back to, or if not ahead of where I ripped out. So I think everything's looking good. I really was talked off the ledge, I think, by my Instagram followers, which was super helpful. So thank you if you put in your input. And I think the blending also looks really good. I'll show you in better lighting. I think everything's looking really well blended. I'll take you really close. I'm sitting right in front of a window, so I think this is the best kind of light we'll have. And we're not in direct sun. It's overcast again today. So basically kind of like the same lighting since when I showed you last. But yeah, I think I put in my lifeline around here. So you can't really tell. Obviously there's that variegation in the yarn where there's lighter and darker parts, but I think it's looking even. And I definitely think once it's all put together, you won't be able to tell. I guess I'm a little nervous about the sleeves, but there's not really much I can do about that now. I think it'll be fine. And yeah, now we're just on to the body and sleeves, and I'm just really excited about this sweater. I am excited about spring knits, but this yarn has just been so nice and it's so special, so I'm excited to have this, and maybe I can get a few days of wearing it before the really warm weather comes. Okay, so it turns out I'm on a mission to look as crusty as possible in every single vlog of this clip and a clip of this vlog. I think I'm doing well. Oh my god, hello Slay Mama Queen. Update on the sweater. We're moving and grooving and we're cruising. The helical knitting is so easy. I don't remember my last clip, gonna be so honest. The helical knitting is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Like, it's insanely easy. So basically you have two yarns going at once. This is what the inside looks like. But so let's say I knit all around and I get back to this point. All you do is you stop 3 stitches before, and then you purl these with the yarn back, and then you just start knitting with this yarn. And you can't tell that I've been doing that for the entire body of the sweater. So let's do a little try on, shall we? A little bit of ways to go, but I'm just really happy with the color so far, happy with how it's turning out, and it's just like smooth sailing from here. It's just a little stockinette, a little back and forth knitting when we get to the hem, and I'm happy so far. Here we are in the sun, and you can't tell, and I think you still get that kind of subtle variegation that I was aiming for. And maybe this does, I think I'm mostly in my head about this looking a little too dark. I think it's just folded over, and I think it looks so clean and nice. Saturday, I'm sorry the hazards in the car are going off, but we're parked in front of our building because Austin forgot his AirPods. But we're gonna go to a little coffee shop and have a little cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee, maybe pastry, and I'm gonna get some work done on some rosing on my sweater. So here we go. Sitting on my balcony, the lovely urban sounds are surrounding me, but I am working on finishing the ribbing for the front panel. It's coming together very nicely. I did look up a tutorial to try to do 2x2 sewn off ribbing, and it looked really confusing, and honestly I didn't feel like losing momentum on this project. So I'm doing the method where you basically do wow, I didn't need to bring you so close to my face, but you do this a little cable round where you like make it so that it's 1x1 ribbing so that you can just do a regular sewn bind off. So I can put the tutorial for that below. The pattern included a tutorial for the 2x2 sewn bind off, and I was just like, I don't feel like doing that, and so I'm not going to, because as much as a nice bind off is, it doesn't really make or break a pattern for me. So I'll still have a sewn bind off. It won't be like perfect, but it'll be good enough. So I wanted to take a moment just to give you a little progress update and then talk about this pattern and some conversations I've been seeing going online. And maybe you've been thinking this and we can talk about it. So bound off for the bottom, I'm on the back. So that's what I'm working on. And I thought I would talk about a comment that I got on my last video. And I'm not like calling this person out, but this is also like designers' comment sections on Instagram. You may have seen people talking about this. And that's that this sweater pattern looks very similar to a My Favorite Things knitwear pattern. I'm not telling anybody how to spend their money or what to do with their lives, but I'm just gonna walk through why I decided to knit this pattern and maybe not the My Favorite Things knitwear pattern. So there's a few reasons, and there are a few differences within these patterns. I thought we could just go through the Ravelry pages and compare them. Sweater that this looks similar to is sweater number 14. It's also a drop shoulder v-neck sweater that uses 2x2 ribbing. I do think that the shoulder shaping on the caidree pattern is different. It has that I-cord edge, that where you pick up the shoulders from, and it also is in a different gauge. So the My Favorite Things knitwear is used holding light fingering and 2 pieces of lace together. So I think it's 2 pieces of mohair and 2 strands of mohair and 1 strand of merino. It comes in 3 sizes. So the sizes are marked as extra small, the second size is small to large, and the third size is extra large to extra, extra large. There isn't any information about the intended ease either on the Ravelry page or on her website, so it's kind of hard to tell how it's supposed to fit inclusive of ease. I guess the finished circumference, but like that could mean so many different things if you have a small bust or a large bust, like thinking of those 3 different size ranges, like kind of the difference in size. And then this is also knit on 6mm needles. So right off the bat, kind of putting the size range aside, I don't think I would reach for a pattern that is using 2 strands of mohair, just because of the climate that I live in. It's April and it's already like 80 degrees outside right now, so winter is pretty mild, and I wouldn't want to substitute it for another bulky yarn, because then you're not maybe getting the lightness that you get from holding 2 strands of mohair together. So that's the information on the My Favorite Things pattern. I do think the sizes are very limited. I don't think I would love, being someone who usually picks a size 3, I don't love that there's only 3 sizes. I think it just makes it really hard to tell how something's going to fit you. For example, if I made it in the size 3, that would give me 10 inches of positive ease, but that could differ if someone's a small or if they're a large. So you're getting lots of different ranges of ease. On the other hand, the caidree pattern, which is the Harlow v-neck, let me type that in, it's made using a lace in worsted weight, or a lace in sport weight, so it's called a worsted weight. I'm using DK and I made gauge, and it comes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sizes. So I believe the biggest bust size is a 67-inch bust, and that is inclusive of 8 to 10 inches of ease. So factoring in the most ease, that'd be inclusive up to a 57-inch bust, which doesn't mean, I think most people's, when we're talking about size inclusivity, people usually talk about reaching a 60 or a 62-inch bust. So it is a few inches off there. You could knit it with maybe 2 inches less or 3 inches less of ease, but it has obviously a more expansive size range, and then you have more kind of customization in the sizes that you can select. And then it's also knit in a different gauge, which just works better for my climate and where I live. And this is knit on 4.5mm needles. I'll say that these designs don't, like, they look similar. I'm not here to say like these don't look anything alike. They do look similar. I just don't necessarily think that My Favorite Things knitwear was the first person to make a v-neck drop shoulder sweater. I think it's a beautiful design. Heck, I'm making it. But I don't think that like that's proprietary to My Favorite Things knitwear, even though it's a beautiful pattern. it's very basic at the same time. So all this to say, if you were curious, I wanted to maybe just kind of explain the differences between those two patterns and my process, like about purchasing the Harlow pattern versus the My Favorite Things knitwear pattern, go forth with that knowledge. At the end of the day, this is a nuanced decision, and a nuanced topic that as a straight size person, I don't think I can bring like everything that needs to be brought to the table, but I can talk about my decisions at least, and talk about like maybe the differences in these patterns and my thought process. That's what I'm trying to bring to the table. Again, I really don't try to be prescriptive. I make a point of saying that explicitly. I just don't want things to get minced, but things might because it's the internet. But all that being said, let's get back to the knitting. I'm at my parents' house. I feel like I look so wacky. I just went on a little trip with my mom and my cousin. I didn't really put vloggy bits in. I just wanted to focus on some family time, and I really wasn't doing too much knitting than other in the car. But I thought I would update you on the progress because I've gotten some big milestones done since finishing the project, or since I last left you. All right, so here's what we're looking so far for length. I do think this is going to grow and expand, and kind of accounting for that. But so far I'm liking the feel and the look of the sweater. Yeah, I can't wait for this to kind of not pucker, because definitely I don't want this like close to my body. I want it to, you know, lay flat and kind of flare out. So that will happen with the 2x2 ribbing. Grows a lot with blocking. And here's how the drop shoulder is looking. And that's extra large, this detail, which I think is my favorite part of the sweater. First reaction with the yarn, I can definitely feel it on my skin. There's maybe like this ever so slightest itch factor, but I wouldn't even say itchy. I would say it's a little less soft than, I've just been wearing my Ingrid sweater all day. So this is the Cascade 2220, or I always call it 2220, it's 220 worsted. And this is a Peruvian Highland wool. However, I've like worn this so much since I finished it in October, so it's really kind of soft. So I'm sure once this has some wear, it'll look good. And I'm really liking how the coloring is looking. I would say this really looks different in every single every single setup I have, every photo I take, it always looks different. And maybe you're seeing that through the course of this video. But I think what the yarn does is kind of give this just like really slight variegation. Oh no, is that a line? Oh man, no. See, it's kind of maybe seeing a line here, but also maybe a line here. It's kind of hard to tell. I think it works, honestly. So I'm just gonna keep going, and we'll see how it goes. Really rambly and really tired. We had a lot of fun, and so now I'm just kind of like, okay, I need to like regroup and get ready. I go home tomorrow night, and I'm so excited to see my boyfriend and my cat. Like, I hate to be that girl, but I'm really excited. So yeah, also loving the V-neck. So yeah, that's where we are right now. I'm in my closet with a quick update of where I am so far on the sleeves. Well, I think I showed you, wait, no, I didn't show you that I finished the sleeve. So let's show you. I finished the first sleeve. There's a lot of ends in this guy. So I'm a little sweaty Betty. But here we are. I finished the first sleeve, and I'm really excited with how this is coming out. It's really interesting how different this color, I could close my linen closet. It's really interesting how this color reads differently in different lights. Obviously this isn't great lighting right now. I will show it in different lighting when we're all done. But the way this like really lights up and the whites get picked up by sunlight is really interesting. I was maybe detecting like a semi-line here, but nothing that I don't think I can really fix at this point because it was just kind of like how the balls of yarn ended up looking. And I think overall it's not too drastic. So I'm really happy with it. I'm excited to see how this grows. We'll see how it goes so far. And I just really want to finish this sleeve because it's hot out. Hello, it's me from the last repeat before I get to ribbing, and I'm just like knitting furiously. It's a Sunday night. I would love to get the ribbing done tonight. We'll see. It's like 4:50. Austin went to go grocery shop, so I'm going to make dinner when he gets home. I guess we'll make dinner together, and then I want to knit for the rest of the night and like do some laundry. So I think we should be good. I also kind of sped through the sleeve last Sunday when I was in the car, and I think I finished it like last Monday. So I'm ready to be done. I will say having a shorty set makes sleeves go by so quicker, and you don't have to fiddle with DPNs, you don't have to fiddle with magic loop. It just makes it go quicker. I will say I did make a sweater back when I made the Whitmore sweater this winter. I did notice I did one sleeve magic loop and one sleeve on the shorty set, and my gauge with the shorty set was way different. So just note that, but we are just knitting away. This is the before blocking shot. All right. I always feel like it's hard to get a good angle of just like this part of your body, but you won't see my head, but this is what we look like before blocking. I'm so far really happy with it. I can just tell this is going to be a wardrobe staple for me. I'm a sucker for a drop shoulder sweater. I think just the extra maybe inch or two of ease that we'll get from blocking will be like perfect. We'll get a little bit of a cozier sleeve. This will grow out. I'm really looking for blocking is to kind of unpucker the ribbing, and Sassy's right by the camera, but that's what we're looking for here. So put this on the blocking board. I don't know, blocking board. I think I'm gonna maybe put it on my balcony because it's nice enough outside, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. Yay! So here is the finished object. I am so happy with it. I can already tell this is going to be a repeat wear, a closet staple, a sweatshirt replacement. This is something that I'm going to be reaching for. It's so easy to wear. I think it has this awesome relaxed style that I just love. I love the ribbing. I love all the details. And I'm so far really liking the yarn. Overall, it does have a bit of a rustic feel in that it's just like a little, but I think it's definitely that kind of wool that will soften upon wearing. And I'm really excited to kind of live in this sweater and see how it lives and how it adapts. We definitely had a lot of growth during blocking. I'll enter a before and after. My favorite thing is that the V-neck expanded. I would note that if you are maybe wanting something more modest, mine at least grew quite substantially, and I like that aspect of the sweater. I think it adds, you know, something different that I don't have in other sweaters. A lot of them are higher necked, and the sleeves are quite long. So they come over my hands, which I would note, I love a cuff. Like, I love cuffing my sleeves. So for if I'm, you know, washing the dishes or something like that, I feel like that's the most often when I need to wash my sleeves or I'm cooking. I think they'll be fine. They're honestly not even the droopiest sleeves that I have, but I'll note that, you know, in case you're a sleeve, if you're sleeve sensitive, you might want to add more decreases or decrease obviously also more frequently, because I basically decreased and then I was already kind of over the length of the sleeve. So, I mean, that's the nice thing with drop shoulder sweaters. The sleeves don't take that long. As far as the coloring and everything goes, I think everything turned out fine. I was very, very concerned at first. I even thought I saw a very harsh line here in one of the pictures I posted, but I think that was just how my camera captured it. I think now, at least how I can see it in the screen, you get a good mix. There might be a little band of dark pulling right here, but nothing like bad and nothing so like egregious that you think it's different. I think it just looks like a really unique yarn. And there's also some light pulling on this sleeve. Like you can see, like just specifically on this side, there's some more lighter colors. That doesn't really bother me. I wasn't alternating skeins on the sleeve. I think that's honestly, it gives it a more ununiform look that I don't mind. And I really just love the drape of the fabric as well. It feels light, but I think it has this like structure that I really like, while also being drapey. I don't know if I described that right, but I think, you know, when something's really drapey, it just like falls, and if something's too stiff, it feels like suffocating, but I like the I like the feel of it so far. Here's a look at the shoulder seams, which are probably the best detail of this sweater. Overall, very happy with the sweater, very happy with the yarn, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you like this style of vlog. I do feel like I could really up my vlog game a little and make things a little more stylized and stylistic, but I just like, I don't know if I'm that girl. So anyway, appreciate you all being here, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.